Mr. Gordon, step forward. Senator Gordon, how you doing? Begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senators. AB 327 extends the sunset date on a public works exemption for volunteers and Conservation Corps members. That extension would be for 7 years until January 1, 2024. AB 327 continues an exemption that has been in place for over 10 years. The ability to volunteer is a cornerstone to many projects, including land and water conservation projects in California. California's volunteer base serves as a successful element for the completion of a wide variety of community projects that improve and enhance our quality of life. Limiting the ability of people to volunteer would put the health of California's communities and natural landscapes at risk. Even though California is currently experiencing a period of economic recovery, extending this important provision will allow California to continue to tap into one of our greatest resources for healthy communities and the environment, and that is volunteerism. I would respectfully urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Thank you. Any witnesses in support?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Darla Ginsel. I'm the director of the California Council of Land Trusts. We're very honored to be the co-sponsor of AB 327 and support the continuation of a very successful exemption to prevailing wage law for volunteers as they work to make our communities healthier and protection of natural resources. Ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Jeremy Smith here on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council. Again, I'd like to thank Mr. Gordon for working with us and a couple of our affiliates to find the right number of years for the sunset. Mr. Gordon is not the first assembly member that we've worked with on this. That's because we have come back because of the sunset every few years just to make sure that local units of government organizations are not abusing the ability to recruit volunteers to do work that is and should be called construction work. Whether you're building a bridge, whether you're in a park, whether you're replacing rock in a creek bed, there's a fine line there. And we think this sunset is very important for the legislature to be able to look at this every few years to make sure that this isn't being abused, because we have uncovered some instances where there has been some work done that was pretty close to being real heavy construction work and probably should have been done by trained construction workers. So we thank Mr. Gordon again for working with us on this. We feel like this is a good hammer to have to make sure that volunteer work is not substituted out for real work. For those reasons, we're happy to support the bill. Thank you.
And Enrique Roacho with the California Association of School Business Officials here in support of AB 327. We think that encourages volunteerism at the local level, especially among parents and children who want to be active in their schools. And so for those reasons, we're supportive of the measure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Joe Cruz on behalf of the California State Council of Laborers. I, too, want to thank Assemblyman Gordon for addressing some of our concerns, especially dealing with the sunset and moving it to 7 years. And also want to dovetail on the comments made by Mr. Smith. As much as the laborers do participate in volunteerism and civic engagement, we also believe that when work deals with the pouring of concrete, conduit, and culverts, building riprap walk walls, and doing large-scale wetland restoration, and dealing with our state's most vital resource, we need a skilled labor workforce doing that work. We promote volunteerism, again, like I said, and we support the bill, AB 327, as it is.
Thank you.
Nicole Riddleman on behalf of Habitat for Humanity and support. We appreciate introduction of the measure and the extension. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Jennifer Fearing, pleased to support Mr. Gordon's bill on behalf of the California Nonprofit Association and Defenders of Wildlife. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Margot Parks on behalf of the State Parks Foundation. In support of the bill, we have over 39,000 volunteers working in our state parks and urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Justin Fans on behalf of the California State Association of Electrical Workers, the Western States Council of Sheet Metal Workers, and the California State Pipe Trades Council. I would like to associate my comments with that of Mr. Smith. We're in support of the bill. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Pablo Garza with the Nature Conservancy, and also speaking on behalf of California Relief. And for the reasons stated, we support the bill. Thank you.
And good morning, Mr. Chair. Doug Houston, representing the California Park and Recreation Society, along with the East Bay Regional Park District, in strong support. Thanks.
Good morning. Tamar Burke on behalf of the Peninsula Open Space Trust and the Big Sur Land Trust in support. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members. Matthew Ganning on behalf of the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority in support.
Good morning, Chair and members. Corey Bolus on behalf of Audubon, California, also in support of the bill.
Good morning, Kelly Cook on behalf of Sonoma County Water Agency in support. Thank you.
Jennifer Franklin, East Bay Municipal Utility District, also in support.
Jimmy McDonald, California Special Districts Association in support.
Good morning, Chair members. Charles Watson on behalf of the California Association of Local Conservation Corps in support. Thank you.
Move the bill. The bill has been moved. I think this is the first bill of the day that has no opposition. It has everybody supported. We'll have comments from senators, Vice Chair, and then we'll go to.
Thank you, Senator Gordon. First of all, it's great to see you. Work with you many years in local government, and strongly applaud you for bringing this forward. Both of us in our local government careers have seen a lot of volunteerism in my area, cleaning up creeks and fixing parks and helping build ball fields in impoverished areas of my district. This is the third such extension where we haven't seen any abuses and volunteers, and I don't see people volunteering to build bridges or freeways. They're just doing what they can to contribute to their communities. So I applaud you for bringing this forward. I hope someday in the future we can not have a sunset, that we could just have this thing go in perpetuity. So I'd like to be a co-author as well, if you would allow me to be so.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Jackson?
Well, my first question is, how do you get so many people to support a bill? It's pages here. I'm very impressed. Good staff work and a good bill, to be sure. I wanted to observe that volunteerism is part of the foundation of this country. And at the same time, I have seen volunteers also get a little overly enthusiastic. And so it's always helpful to have people who are cognizant of what that volunteer work is supposed to entail versus what goes beyond. Always, usually or almost always, well-intended. And I've seen people in my district anxious to help clean up the oil spill that we have along our coast, and frustrated that initially they really weren't permitted to, and it turns out that was for health reasons that were legitimate and justified. I also want to point out that volunteer work, I think, is real work. So that is not, I think, the nature of the distinction. It's just that it's unpaid work. And so I hope that we can keep that in mind. It is critically important. At the same time, it's very important that we balance it, and that the enthusiasm of the public also be cognizant of the fact that you can do things right. You can do things that are not in your best health. And I recall seeing a photograph of a fellow picking up a pelican along the beach right after the oil spill without his shirt on. That man is destined for some significant health issues, because crude oil, particularly before it's been allowed to dissipate and all, is actually quite toxic. And yet this was a man of great intent and great compassion. So it's a mix, and I think that having the sunset, although I agree 7 years, let's not do it every year. We don't need to see you back. And although it's very impressive to see that list of people coming forward, I want to thank you for bringing the bill as well. And if there is a chance to join as a co-author, I would like to do that. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you so much. Madam Secretary, please call the vote. Roll.
The motion is due pass. Mendoza?
Aye.
Mendoza, aye. Stone?
Aye.
Stone, aye. Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye. Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Mitchell? Aye. Mitchell, aye.
Thanks. Your bill's out.
Mr. Chair, I move the consent calendar.
Oh, consent has been moved. While we have the other authors step forward, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mendoza?
Aye.
Mendoza, aye. Stone?
Aye.
Stone, aye. Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye. Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Mitchell? Aye. Mitchell,
Great.
aye.
Senator Mercouli, please begin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
I'm here to present my AB 1245 relating to electronic filings with the Employment Development Department of unemployment insurance taxes. The bill would require that these filings happen electronically, and it will be phased in, the implementation will be phased in over a 2-year period. Those individuals with 10 or more employees will start January 1st of 2017, the balance in 2018. Moving to electronic filing for this particular class of tax will save the state millions. It uses an online-based system, so it's not intended to be burdensome, and the most recent amendments were designed to, as it gets phased in, to ease the burden on anyone who doesn't get it done correctly. The UI code generally has a 15% filing a tax for a failed filing, which could be cost prohibitive. So the bill caps that at $50, also gives the ability to waive it for good cause, which is not a part of current law. So I have here Scott Hauge with Small Business California and staff at EDD.
Thank you.
I'm Scott Hauge. I'm the president of Small Business California. We're supporting this bill because it's more efficient for small business, it's more cost effective, it'll save time. And we think the fact that this is phased in is really important. It'll give time for EDD to reach out, we think, through the small business development centers over a period of time to reach out to small businesses around the state. We ask your support.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair and members, I'm Bradley Hodges, the EDD's taxpayer advocate, and I've been working closely with the author and sponsor of this bill. We believe that it would benefit the state of California, but it also provides a great benefit to small employers. Electronic data is a lot more accurate, and it would alleviate them of some of the issues that I see coming through my office. So I urge your aye vote.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other witnesses in support?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Lori Kammerer, also representing Small Business California, but also the National Association of Women Business Owners. We are in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any opposition? Or, yeah, any opposition? Seeing none. Members, senators, any comments? Vice Chair Stone.
The transition period of 2 years, do you think that's enough to educate small businesses, the wherewithal, the complexity of doing this online? Is it a simple process, or is this software that is provided to small businesses for them to adapt, or is this something that the small businesses are going to have to, buy off the shelf and be able to accommodate some type of electronic transmission?
Yeah, in 2011, we upgraded at EDD the accounting system that we utilize, and that system came with its own software that allows employers to either enter the information online through our website or to attach electronic files. And we have millions of employers that send information that way currently. So it's this new process. It's really a situation where we've got a tool, but now we need a chance to market it to these folks, and we think that the combination of our marketing and outreach and the legislation behind it will be the driving force that we need to make it work.
And knowing that we have so many small businesses in the state, how do you plan on marketing it? You have enough budget to communicate with them and to let them?
We currently have marketing.
I think once they embrace it, I think it's going to be easier for them to.
That's what we're seeing too, that the folks that have got into the system find it very helpful, very useful. We have a number of vehicles that we currently use and some budget for that as well, right? We've got California Employer Newsletter that we do each quarter. We work with small businesses. We've got a Small Business Employer Advisory Council that we meet with each year. So we've also been talking with Small Business California and working with their members as well. So that really it's going to be a multi-pronged approach between our website and our ability to reach out to people with our current communications.
And the fines, the implementation of the program. So if you don't participate by January 17, then you're fined?
Actually, no. One of the concerns raised by the Chamber and the California manufacturers was that they were concerned about the penalties being implemented so quickly. So for the 2 years during the implementation of this bill, they won't receive a fine for filing on paper, because we want them to have that full transition period. So if the bill passes this year and it becomes law, there would be 1 year, then we would have 2 years beyond that. So really, we're looking at a 3-year window that people wouldn't be penalized. It gives us more time for marketing and more time for us to work with them on any obstacles that they're encountering.
And then last question, with the successful marketing, campaign, why do you think that businesses wouldn't just do this? Why do you think we need the mandate?
I think a lot of businesses just get in a habit, right? It's the end of the quarter. I've got to send something to EDD. There's that paper. I've actually worked in the processing areas and seen them just, kind of hand scrawled. And now we've got a system that can work just as fast as the hand scrawl, but it's more accurate, so they don't have mistakes, right? We don't have a machine reading area, because everything that comes in on paper we scan, but the data has to be corrected, and it may or may not be corrected the way the employer wanted. So yeah, I think it's just convenience. I know for years I did my DMV registration that way. And now they've got a magic code, and I go into their system, and I haven't filled out a paper form for DMV for years.
I would like to add the addition of the Small Business Development Centers, which has a wide network of satellite offices around the state, is really a plus. I also would like to point out that if they don't have the facilities to be able to do this, there is a hardship provision that is liberally applied.
And if we have any, we do job fairs in my district. Will the department come out and help educate businesses how they can utilize this service?
Absolutely, sure.
So that we can make it easier on them? Because I think it would be a great one to embrace.
Yeah, in fact, I attend the small business fairs with the Board of Equalization's taxpayer advocate as well, Todd Gilman, and I was in LA just a couple of weeks ago, and we have staff that come from the local offices that are trained in the system that can get people registered on site and get them stepped through, so absolutely.
And just to speak to that, Senator Stone, it doesn't require any specialized software. They can do it through the website, so it's not burdensome in that manner. The UI fund, there are issues with the costs that have been run up through this recession. So I think here we are supporting the economical administration of that government, that there's going to be savings here, which I think is beneficial. My wife is a church bookkeeper. These online systems just save a lot of headache. They become very simple. And so really this is a cost savings measure. I do think it's something that people will adapt to and become very simple. And as I say, the phase-in is such that it doesn't get rolled out for an entire year. When you hit 17, it's 10 employees and larger, and it's only when you're 18 or you get into smaller. And you've heard the description of how the kind of the period of no harm, no foul, and then we are adding a waiver provision, which is not currently in the code, to apply to this program. So it's got a lot of belts and suspenders.
Sounds like you've tried to make it as user-friendly and small business as possible, and I applaud you, because I've always been one that has advocated that government needs to run more efficiently and use technology. At the beginning of every month, I'm writing checks to all my creditors, with old-fashioned checks, and my wife is saying, "What are you doing that for? Go online, and you can make it automatically deducted from your checking account." And I said, I can't figure that out. So she showed me step-by-step how to do it. Now
That's how my home runs.
Just see the money just disappear out of the checking account every month without writing a check. But I just want to say that I do applaud you. Yeah, it just disappears. But I do applaud you for making government more efficient, and we need to follow your example and spread that mantra to other departments.
Thank you.
Any other the bill has been moved. Any other comments from other senators? Sounded like a very good closing for you, Mr. Member Cooley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Thanks to your staff.
The motion is due pass to appropriations. Mendoza?
Aye.
Mendoza, aye. Stone?
Aye.
Stone, aye. Jackson?
Aye.
Jackson, aye. Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mitchell, aye.
The bill's out. Congratulations.
Very good. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Go ahead and, Mr. Garcia. Senator Member Garcia. Thank you for your patience. You've been sitting there all this time. I hope.
I've enjoyed the conversation. It's always good to be part of any discussion related to this committee. Good morning. I'm here to present AB 1270. 1270 comprehensively updates California's primary workforce development program to reflect the new requirements of the Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014. While the bill conforms state law to the new federal law, it maintains its core state policies related to the significance of regional economies and sector strategies, the preparation of a workforce ready to support dominant and emerging industries, and the development of career pathways that provide workers with the economic security and the career advancement. This measure, Mr. Chairman, is one of two bills, the other which is sponsored by yourself, and the labor agency to ensure that we are aligning with the federal government's new requirements. The administration is sponsoring both these bills. AB 1270 is supported by a wide range of business and economic interests, including, and I will highlight, the Chamber of Commerce of the State of California, the California Workforce Investment Boards, and the California Manufacturers and Technology Association. With me is Amy Wilson with the Labor and Workforce Development Agency, along with Dan Rounds with the State Workforce Investment Board, to add any details that you may be interested in hearing about. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you so much. We'd love to hear from any from the supporters.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Amy Wilson with the Labor and Workforce Development Agency. The Labor Agency is pleased to be sponsoring this conformity bill before you today to facilitate the implementation of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act in California. We believe that the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act provides a unique opportunity to update our state workforce law in a manner that supports California's continued economic growth. The implementation of WIOA will modernize our workforce system to make it more responsive to the demands of our economy. Improved coordination among workforce programs will help Californians attain the skills they need to compete for quality jobs and to achieve self-sufficiency. My colleague Dan Rounds of the State Workforce Board will speak more to the specifics of the bill, and so I'll close by thanking the authors and ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Mr. Rounds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Special good morning to Senator Jackson. My name is Dan Rounds, and I staff the California Workforce Investment Board on research and policy matters. AB 1270 is one of two bills being sponsored by the Labor and Workforce Development Agency and supported by the California Workforce Investment Board to update the State Workforce Act to reflect changes in federal law. The bill makes non-controversial technical changes to state law while retaining statewide policy initiatives that this legislature has passed in recent years. Making these changes helps ensure that the state can continue to draw down approximately $400 million in Opportunity Act funds. We thank Assemblymember Garcia for partnering with us on this effort, and we respectfully ask for your support on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Rounds. Any other support?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. On behalf of the Good morning. On behalf of the Association of California School Administrators, I'm Leangela Reed in support of the bill.
Thank you.
Good morning. Marty Fisher on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce in support. Cal Chamber.
Thank you, Marty.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Nicole Rice, California Manufacturers and Technology Association, also in support.
Christina Brown on behalf of the California Workforce Association in support.
Great, thank you. All right, any others in support? Okay, any opposition? Seeing none, would love to hear from the senators. Okay, we have a motion. There's no other comment. Mr. Garcia, would you like to close?
I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass to appropriations. Mendoza?
Aye.
Mendoza, aye. Stone?
Aye.
Stone, aye. Jackson? Jackson, aye. Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mitchell, aye.
Great. The bill is out. Congratulations. Mr. Perea, please step forward. I know your bill is going to be very short, right? It's going to be very brief.
Yes. I will take your lead, Mr. Chair.
Whenever you're ready, boss.
Chair and members, thank you for the opportunity to present AB 1308, which would provide a technical fix that would strengthen the state's apprenticeship system by establishing basic but necessary procedures for the approval of new building and construction trades apprenticeship programs. Specifically, AB 1308 would require a pattern of unfilled requests by contractors to be established before approval of new apprenticeship programs. It would also provide technical fixes to remove the special circumstances provision in the Labor Code that is no longer needed because the bill further defines when programs are deficient. This provides protections to existing union and non-union programs that graduate apprentices and properly invest in apprenticeship training. Respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Jeremy Smith here, again on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council, the proud sponsor of this legislation. At its essence, this bill is about apprentices, but it also helps the DAS. First of all, apprentices. For an apprentice to journey through their training, they have to have work They have to have construction work going on in their area for their craft, because they work on the job, they learn while they earn, and they do schoolwork, classroom work in the morning, and go out to the job site in the afternoon. If there's an oversaturation of apprenticeship programs in an area, training on the same craft, those apprentices are not going to have enough work to spread around. So we want to make sure that before a new program is approved, any existing program in the area has to show a pattern of not supplying apprentices. Secondly, the DAS, whenever they get a new application for a program, it's kind of like autopilot over there. They have to begin this process of looking at it, figuring out if it's a good application and whether it should be approved. This will help them understand those applications better, get through them quicker. If a local program is doing the right thing, is supplying apprentices, whether they are union or non-union, it's easier to get through those applications. They get hundreds a year. And they can spend their time then investigating current programs, making sure they're treating their apprentices the right way, and making sure that those programs are supplying apprentices to contractors, to public works projects. And finally, the special circumstances language was included in the Labor Code. DAS and the CAC never promulgated regulations. It's kind of a nebulous term, special circumstances, so we're looking to take it out just to make sure we can keep the bill tight and keep the Labor Code tight when it comes to apprentices. For those reasons, we're happy to support the bill. Urge your aye vote.
Okay, thank you so much. Witnesses in support. Okay, witnesses in opposition.
Mr. Chairman, members, Richard Markison with the Air Conditioning Trade Association, the Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors of California, and the Western Electrical Contractors Association. All three associations operate state and federally approved apprenticeship programs in California, strong supporters of a vibrant apprenticeship community. However, as we point out in our correspondence, the needs test is really a monopoly that was put in place by Assemblyman Keeley. And we don't favor additional restrictions on program expansion. We think that the needs test should be eliminated. The direct consequence of California's needs test was the fact that California no longer supervises federal apprentices. The U.S. Department of Labor found that the needs test is a discriminatory provision in state law, and for that reason they revoked the state's authority to supervise federal apprentices. We believe the needs test should be repealed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other opposition? Okay, senators, any comments? Vice Chair Stone, Senator Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and appreciate Assemblyman Perea bringing this forward, but I am concerned that it does nothing to reverse the federal derecognition of California apprenticeship programs, and it seems as though it's going to just reduce competition from merit shop apprenticeship programs. So in its present form, I regret that I can't support the bill.
Great, Senator Jackson.
Thank you. Yes, I'd be interested in your response to that. The federal, today's world, I'm not sure the federal guidelines are any good form of leadership and direction for us, but sometimes they are. So I'd be interested in your comments about the claim that this will reduce competition, reduce our opportunity to really provide apprenticeship, which I think is a very excellent concept. And Assemblymember Keeley was someone whose values and opinions I valued tremendously. So I'd be interested if you would comment on that.
I'll let our sponsor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Perea. Thank you, Senator, for the question. As we all know, the political winds go different directions, and the situation that was referenced, indeed, the situation that the previous speaker referenced occurred during the Bush administration. Essentially, they didn't like that California had such stringent standards for approval of programs. The same thing happens with Cal OSHA, frankly. There's a federal OSHA and a Cal OSHA, and we do better than federal OSHA in that sense. We do better at approving apprenticeship programs in California than the feds do. We want to make sure that apprentices are able to join and belong to programs that aren't oversaturating an area, as I said in my previous statement, that programs have a plan to train apprentices, have a facility to train apprentices, and that there's enough work in the area to support a program. That's the need standard. We cannot have programs in an area competing with each other for the same work, because that just slows down an apprentice's journey through their training, and it slows down their ability to become a journey person. So that's the answer to the question. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I'd like to just follow up on that. I
Vice
think
Chair.
Senator from Santa Barbara brings up some good questions, and you mentioned it was the political winds that created this imbalance. Mr. Obama's been in office for 7 years, so why haven't we seen any changes from the federal government if the political winds are going to go black the other way? And how would you argue that this is not yet another tool for unions to get competition in the area of apprenticeships?
Well, first of all, we haven't heard from apprentices that there's a problem in California. There's 55,000 registered apprentices right now in programs.
Probably working today, I'd imagine.
The way that things are ramping back up, they probably are working today, yes, and that's important. So, we have a very robust system in this state that between the Apprenticeship Council and the Division of Apprenticeship Standards to oversee the programs, to make sure that they're doing the right thing, to investigate them, to determine whether or not they are treating apprentices and contractors the right way. And that's for union and non-union programs. What was the second question?
Oh, why hasn't Obama intervened in the past 7 years to make the political winds blow the other way?
Well, President Obama hasn't done everything we wanted him to do on many issues. This is just one of them. I know some people think he's a very liberal guy. We think he's more of a moderate. But that being said, we're very happy with the way our apprenticeship system works in this state under Governor Brown, and the current CAC makeup and the Division of Apprenticeship Standards.
Thanks for answering the question.
Thank you. Thank you. Seeing other questions?
One small comment.
Senator Leno?
With regard to the needs-based requirement, I thought Mr. Smith described the history of it and the need for it very clearly. It's about assuring quality. And political winds aside, I don't think that's what this bill is about or what the issue of needs-based is. And I thought the oppositional voice was more than just a little cynical on the issue, that if there's a better way to make sure that we do have quality programs that will help someone learn the skills that will be beneficial as an apprenticeship program should provide, well, then there should be some addressing of how we do needs-based now. But just to criticize it in a cynical tone doesn't get us anywhere. Got a better idea? Bring it forward. Otherwise, this makes sense, and as does the bill.
Yes. Thank you, Senator Leno. Those were my remarks exactly. But no, I would like to give the author the opportunity to close.
Well, I'll take those remarks as my close.
Great, great. Seeing that, Madam Secretary, please. Oh, do we have a motion?
I do.
Thank you. We have a motion. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is due pass to appropriations. Mendoza?
Aye.
Mendoza, aye. Stone?
No.
Stone, no. Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye. Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Mitchell? Aye. Mitchell, aye.
Your bill is out. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members.